You're watching the Vintage Tech channel. I'm Kent and I'm the Vintage Tech. Today we're not looking at a piece of vintage technology, but a very interesting piece of technology nonetheless. A number of you have expressed an interest in knowing more about this piece of technology, so I'm going to share some of that information with you here. Last Christmas, 2021, the family bought me a Husqvarna 450XH Automower. That's a robot lawnmower. And I had a little bit of trouble with it shortly after I got it, and had a little bit of a delay in getting it repaired. But Husqvarna took control of the situation and really came through. I can't say enough about their customer service. Just an incredible demonstration of some of the service that we thought was gone forever. It's definitely not with Husqvarna. No conflict of interest to reveal here. A family member gifted me this mower, so I have no axe to grind, good or bad, with my evaluation. But I wanted to share with you, now that I've had it running for I don't know, about a month and a half, 2 months, every day, almost every day, rain or shine, and it is doing an incredible job. I just can't believe that a little mower with a 10-inch spinning disc could mow 2.5 acres like this and keep it mowed. And the very heaviest growing season with heavy rains and then intense warm days, the grass typically would just explode, and I wouldn't be able to keep up with it. I'd have to mow 2 days a week for sure. And I haven't mowed, except that you're going to see a little bit of area that I don't have the Automower covering for me. And I'll explain what I mean by that in a minute. But I just did want to take a few minutes to share with you my experience with the Husqvarna Automower. I don't know whether I'm pronouncing Husqvarna properly, but if you'll pardon my ignorance, that's the way I've always pronounced it. I have their chainsaw, and it's the best chainsaw I've ever owned. And now I own one of their Automowers. So here we go, without further delay. All right, I wanted to show you how the Husqvarna is doing on the yard. This is the front pasture. I call it a pasture because it's mostly weeds, as you can see. Not a very pretty yard, but honestly, I just came through here with the big mower. I'm going to mow this front section here and get down low, and you can see probably the grass a little better. I don't have this front part of the yard wired, because the perimeter wire, because I don't want people seeing the mower down there at the edge of the road. It's too much of a temptation to steal it, even though they couldn't do anything with it. They can't. If they lift it up and take it out of the geofence, it'll start screaming, and it will not stop until the battery goes dead. And they cannot charge the unit because it uses a serialized charger, and unless the mower registers with its own charger each time, it will not charge. So anyway, it makes it difficult for the average person to steal one of these mowers. But you can see that the grass here needs mowed. It's a good 6 inches high, and we got lots of beautiful wildflowers out here. But then you can see where it's been mowing, and it's grooming it down to about 3 inches, and I've got it set to about that high. And the whole yard, I've got about 2 acres of yard, goes way on back around behind. This is not my house, this is my my farmhouse here, but it goes way on back around, and we'll go down there and take a look at some of the areas that it mows. But it maintains about 2 acres, and it'll mow in the rain, it'll mow in the sun, it doesn't matter, it just keeps right on mowing. One of the misgiving, one of the problems, I guess you would say problems, with this setup and a pasture is that you get these weeds. Let me see if I can show you one. Here's one simple example. These weeds where this clump of crabgrass or whatever that is, you can see there's one right there. And they get long and the mower just drives right over the top of them. It won't cut them. So you get these little tufts of weeds, although I'm not seeing very many, honestly. There's just one here and there. Just, you can see them sticking up every once in a while. Here's one sticking up. You can see it right there in the middle of the screen. You'll see them sticking up every once in a while. And it does a pretty good job mowing around things. In fact, it does a much better job because it gets up inside the forsythia here. You can see, I guess you could probably see on the camera, what a nice clean job it does all the way around the forsythia. It gets right up underneath there. Same with underneath these trees, which I can't mow under because I can't get under. They have such a low hanging limbs, but it'll mow all the way around those. Let's see. So it's maintaining it on a really super heavy, oh, this is a ditch here, and I have to put that chair there to keep it from getting stuck in that hole, but I'll weed eat that. But you can see it pushes right out on up into these areas, drives right up in there, and gets into the area really well. So it's doing a beautiful job. This is the Husqvarna, as I said, the Husqvarna 450 XH. The X is, not sure what the X is, but the H is high cut. And the high cut, there's some weeds back there that are right up against the garage that need to be trimmed with a weed eater. But see, it mows right up underneath this tree, and so it's doing a good job. And you can see my neighbor hasn't mowed his patch here, and you can see what a clean cut the Husqvarna is maintaining. The perimeter wire goes all the way down there, all the way down to the back of the pasture, and you can see what a clean cut he's doing a fine job. So the perimeter wire comes around the property and goes up my drive, and all that is maintained. So you can see the yard really looks good. Very pleased with the result. Now, I call the mower Vern, V-E-R-N. I'm not really sure why we ended up with that name, but Vern runs 24/7. Got the schedule set for 24/7. And look at this lower yard. This just looks great. So happy with it. Comes right up. The perimeter wire runs right along the bamboo here. And then this is a lot of new stand here. The bamboo, or the perimeter wire goes up through the bamboo here and out to the barn. But you can look here how it navigates around inside all of this. And oops, getting into some spider webs here. And it moves right on through here and keeps all this trimmed down. You can see it's kept it all mowed. Of course, it can't get up too close to the bamboo, so there's a few tufts of grass around the bamboo, but up inside there, maintaining all the way down. And then my property goes way down into the lower level down there, but the kids put the perimeter wire right here, right across here, and you can actually see where it's maintaining the grass. You can see that line where it's found the perimeter wire, and it's maintaining all of that. There, this grass is growing. I need to mow that, and it's maintaining this. This is how tall it would be if I weren't maintaining it. You can see how tall it would be. This grass would just overtake everything down here. So, like I said, we're looking at about 2 acres, and it's I think that's about the limit of that model. And we come right up through the bamboo alley here, the old barns, the old smokehouse, and it's maintaining this corridor right here beautifully. All this around the yard. Okay, my dog, I have a greyhound, and she has this large run right here. Get up here high where you can see it. This is her run. It's a nice big area back here. Goes all the way back there and around and back up into the house. And Vern doesn't mow this area because I don't want Vern getting all clogged up with dog poop. So I have to maintain that. That's 1 yard that I mow. It takes about 15 minutes. But Vern comes right up here and maintains all of this. The perimeter wire goes on down, all the way down the corridor, goes around the bamboo. Like I said, there's a ham radio antenna there. So, I think other than just every once in a while the tufts of grass that it misses, which honestly, I don't have a groomed yard like my neighbor. It'll miss some little sprigs here and there. Actually, I think if it keeps mowing, it'll eventually knock them over, cut them off. So, all right. If you have any questions, I have some experience about setting down the perimeter wire. And let's see, this is another corridor. It goes through and mows all that back in there. There's a perimeter wire around the carport to keep him from getting up underneath the cars, because he will find his way up underneath the cars. And so all of this is perimeter here. It can't go past that wire. And so this looks good. I'm really, really pleased. There's his doghouse, and he's resting right now, charging. And he'll go in there when he gets down to about 5%. No matter where he is in the yard, he'll find his way back over here and get into this doghouse and charge. Takes about 1.5 hours to charge from flat, and then it'll run about 5 hours. Yeah, that's right. It runs about 5 hours on a charge. Pretty incredible. So let's see. Oh, by the way, I understand monarch. I know that's not a monarch butterfly, but oh, there you are. Where'd you go, buddy? Monarch butterflies, I understand, are in danger of being extinct because of the deforestation of some parts of the world and insecticides. But anyway, I don't know whether that's true. You don't know whether to believe what you read, but that would be a shame, wouldn't it? All right, so that's the Husqvarna. Let's take a closer look at the Husqvarna at Vern, and I'll pull him out of his house. Hey, this is Vern, the Husqvarna Automower 450XH, and you can see it's been working hard. It's filthy dirty, and but that's all there is to it. It's not real huge. Let me open it up. You can see the menu. I ran low on battery earlier, so I put it back on charge, which normally it'll find its way back to the charger about 98% of the time. Maybe maybe, oops, I don't want it to start right now. So we won't let it. Yeah, okay, so it's not going to start. All right, I want to flip it over. There we go. And this is the cutting disc. It's not very big. You can see one of the blades is sticking out there, and the blades spin. So there's a bottom disc that spins like that, and this top protecting thing keeps you from getting cut with rocks and damaging the spinning disc. So the lower disc spins, and this just kind of floats. It's got the two casters on the front and then the drive wheels on the bottom, and it's extremely efficient. So when this dries out, I'll blow it off with an air tank, air hose. Okay, uses sonar. Here are the charging blades, and you can look up inside there and you can see the charging station. The charging blades here will made up with the charging mount, and it has two sonar detectors here, and it uses bumps. So this outer shell moves. You can see how it moves. So when the mower is moving and this outer shell doesn't move because it's bumped into something, it will detect a collision and back up and move around and navigate around. And additionally, it has GPS, so it knows where it has mowed and it knows where it needs to mow. And it also will keep track of tall grass as opposed to short grass. So let's see if I can get it to start now, even though I don't have a full charge. Okay. Well, I got a pretty good charge, but let's go ahead and let it start. Really rough ground right here. There's lots of roots on the maple tree. But you can hear, or can't hear, as the case may be, that it is very quiet, almost silent. Let me get up close. You can hear the whir of the blade. And you say, well, what can a 10-inch disc or 8-inch cutting disc do? Well, you'd be surprised. And you just saw how much it's maintaining. It's pretty amazing to me what a beautiful job it's doing. And it's navigating around the perimeter wire here is what it's doing. So it's finding that perimeter wire, and it knows it can't, go further than that. So if it bumps into something, it'll just keep on mowing, backing up, and it'll get to the perimeter wire and say, nope, can't go any further. And it'll just follow that perimeter wire around. When it comes up close to its charging station, it'll slow down and say, okay, I recognize you, but I'm not ready to go back there just yet. And then it'll speed back up. Oh, that's what the X is. The X of the 450X is the speed. It's got a high-speed drive, and there it's going now. You can see it's taking off pretty good. And the H is high cut, meaning that it'll mow up, I don't know, I'm not measured, but I'm guessing that it would probably mow as high as 6 inches from the dirt up to the top of the grass. All right. Now, it could have gone straight on out there, but it knows that it needs to mow this area. So it's going to turn around and it's going to come back and focus just on this area. And you also notice that it is just a random, what appears to be a random search, a random motion. And it really is. Other than it's being guided with the GPS to stay in this area kind of thing, it'll focus on this area of grass now for a few minutes till it's satisfied that it's mowed this part of the yard. And it's not segmented off electronically. It's just one big giant loop. And so it's just going to go down to the edge of the yard, and then it's just going to keep right on mowing. And it'll focus in this area probably for several minutes, and then it'll move on to another area of the yard and focus on that. There's another antenna hanging there. So it's real quiet. It'll run all night long, not bother any neighbors. You can turn the headlights on and let it run at night with headlights, but all that does, in my opinion, is attract more interest, and I'm not about attracting interest because that just is too much of a temptation. So you can see it's not going over the same track. It's working in the same areas, but it's not. Also, it's designed not to go back and forth, because in yard work, if you do that day in and day out, week in and week out, you start cutting ruts in your yard with the mower. So this is designed to randomize its cutting area, and it'll keep up with they're bumped into the charging station, and so it's going to move out of the way. All right, it just mowed over one of those tall pieces of grass. You can't see it on the camera, and it nipped it. It got it. So if it gets it to the right angle, it'll cut those pieces of grass that are sticking up that I was talking about earlier. It'll eventually get them. And this is a little bit better yard right in here. It's not as much weeds. So it really, in really groomed yards, and I have a few areas that are similar to that, it really does an outstanding job. Actually better than I could do with a tractor, with a mower. It just grooms it and does a beautiful job. Just get in a little closer. Watch it navigate the perimeter wire. You can see the variable speed. Okay, that's the Husqvarna 450 XH. Again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. I'm going to go out here and finish mowing the part that I have to mow, and that's out there by the road. Takes me about 10 minutes. But I'm gone from mowing 2 hours once or twice a week. Oops, I hit the record button. I go from a mowing taking about 2.5 to 3 hours a week, or once or twice a week, to 10 minutes once or twice a week. So I feel like the Husqvarna is really, really doing the job for me. Okay, I gotta show you something here, because I think this is an important piece of the puzzle. I'm mowing with this old John Deere, and I've got the blades that are just sharpened on it, and I want you to notice something here. I don't know if you can see it or not. Yeah, you can probably see it. Look at all this grass. this is the same grass that Vern won't mow, and this big dual spinning blade 18 horsepower is missing it as well. And I'm not mowing fast through here, and it's missing all of those blades. So I'm going to have to go back over all of this with the John Deere. And my point is, you know, you say, well, I couldn't tolerate having all that tall grass sprigging up through my yard. Well, unless you go over it and over and over it with the big tractor, big comparatively speaking, let me zoom back out here, you're still going to have that problem. It's the nature of that type of grass that just lays down and won't cut. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. When I saw that, the first time I discovered that, I thought, okay, I don't feel so bad. Vern's just not lazy. It's just the nature of that type of grass. And thankfully, I don't have that grass all throughout the whole yard. So most of the yard, and I mean like 99.999% of the yard, is groomed. And every once in a while, you have a little sprig sticking up like that. So anyway, again, shoot your comments, questions, insights if you have any. Thanks. Just for illustration purposes, I just sent it command to go park. So it was out and about, and it's going to try to find its charging station, and we'll see if it's able to get in there without any drama. All right, there we go. Pretty simple. Sometimes it struggles back and forth a little bit for a few seconds, but that time it went straight home.